Hello and welcome to Dinis Guarda YouTube podcast series. And we are here once again to profile world performers, leaders, and personalities that are changing the world with their unique energy and I would say the special things that made them, I would say, go through the strengths and weakness and shine in a lot of different circumstances that most of people cannot do it. And I'm very excited today because we're going to be portraying someone that I met recently, but I have a lot of respect, and someone that is out of the box as a woman in the arts and business world, but as well a mother and an inspirational personality that crossovers the world of the arts, creative industries, and business. So I welcome to our series Carolina Conforti, that is joining us actually from Switzerland, but is an Italian with a background in a lot of different things, and that has been creating a fantastic, especially platform around the arts that we're going to be highlighting more during this interview. So she's the co-founder of the Art World, and she was born in Napoli, one of the most romantic cities of Italy. And as well, at the moment, in terms of the projects that you're going to be focusing is the arttalk.com. And you can find more about her as well in some of the things that she's been doing in terms of the art world that you're going to be talking in this interview. So welcome to our series, Carolina. I'm looking forward to profile you and talk with you today.
Hello, Dinis. Hello to all your audience. It's really an honor to be here with you today. Thank you.
Grazie mille. So Carolina, so you have quite unique experience and quite unique profile, because it's really, you've been talking about first of all, your career comprehends a lot of different things, but as well you have a fantastic cultural background and history as well. So could you tell us, start by your personal history, your personal education, and as well the background that brought you to where you are now?
Thank you, Dinis. Yes, I'm Italian, and I come from one of the most picturesque places in Italy, or the south of Italy, which is Napoli, as you said, as you mentioned before. So I was framed since my childhood from the beautiful colors and smells and history and art from the Mediterranean, Magna Graecia. And since then, I fell in love with art because, you know, wherever you go in a church, there is something that grasps your soul. And while I was doing a course in baroque in Roma, I decided that this was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So then afterwards, I did all my gavette, art dialogue gavette, as we could say, through Paris, London, and different auction houses, and also all master galleries, which this was my degree in ancient drawing.
Fantastic. And so you put it very simple, but there's a lot of things here. So you mentioned all the cities and all the different parts, and I know that Italy is quite unique from the north to the south. Italy diverses a lot. So a bit, if you could contextualize, how did you start really after the studies getting immersed in the art world, and a bit of your professional career?
So I was actually I wanted to be in the international career, to become a diplomat, and I did a course in art in Rome, and I as I told you, I fell in love with the history, but also with all these emotions when you see a work of art that makes you completely be in a very vulnerable space, and also many emotions that go through your heart and soul. So after that, I decided to go to Paris, where my degree was in ancient drawing. I loved ancient drawing at the Anciens, and I worked at the Louvre for a bit, and then going to Sotheby's in Paris for an internship, and following up in Christie's in London. But while I was there, I was doing all these, different little internships and working in these wonderful all master galleries where you can see canalettos, you can see all these wonderful masterpieces, and meeting so many people, which makes you inspire you every day. And yes, so that was why I wanted to continue to be in the art world. So and especially coming back to what you said about the art talks. So 3 years ago, I was invited to see the Jeddah 2139 art fair, and I fell in love with the contemporary art. And it became more or less a renaissance on my own being. And so we created the art talks a bit shortly after that.
Wow, fantastic. So can you tell us, so this emergence in the art world, and I think for my audience, they know that I've been having as well an art background, but I passed to technology and a lot of different things. So a bit of this experience, for instance, you have Christie's, you have the art world of old art mixed with the new one, and of course Christie's is Christie's, but you have that experience. So from this experience, any kind of histories that you want to share with us, and then how you went from these histories then to create your own first ventures and first activities within the art world?
Yes, so Italy, wherever we move, it's a walking museum. So I live in where I come from. I have 3 wonderful Greek temples that and you have statues, all masterpieces, everything that that really inspires you every day. So for me, that was art. Then when I went to the auction houses, again, it's a different world. You live every day a different period of art history, and so you get to know so many things. And if you don't know, you learn and you ask through the different art experts. And my background was ancient drawing, because I found the drawing extremely fascinating, to see what there is before something is actually built or painted. That's why you see, I think I adore the behind the scene. And this is what brought me now, in the art, in the contemporary world, is to the fascinating moment to meet the artist, to speak with the artist, and to understand what is there, what did it, what is behind the scene. That I think for me is the most incredible thing about contemporary art. And as I said, I was in Artissima in Torino. I met this gallery, which is from the Saudi Art Gallery. I saw this artist that brought me to Jeddah, and I was in the middle of the desert, Alula, in back 3 years ago, and I was walking through this lost path of work installation, and I met the artist. I met with the artist, and he told me what was all about, what he created, why he created this lost path, and that for me was a magical moment. So it grasped my soul, and I thought that I had to understand more, because, as I said, I didn't know the contemporary art, and I fell in love with anything, because art, as you know, Dinis, it's very personal. So there is something that you like, and nobody can tell you what you like, what you don't like. It's really, really personal. But what is beautiful is always the story behind each piece.
It's wonderful. So I have a couple of questions. So on
Yes.
this part of, before we go more to your career, your organizations, one of the things that the art world is that in the last decades, the art world initially was very conservative, and I know that Italy probably even more than France. And then, like you said, there's the art world, the conservative part, and there's the art world more advanced. And now, of course, we went to the other extreme, that is everything about NFTs and the more radical stuff. So can you tell us a bit about the difference you found between, like you said, the historical, more conservative, but as well more traditional And then, of course, the modern art and all this changes, because in the last 20 years, the art world has been completely shaped by all the changes, and of course now is increasingly becoming digital as well, which I think is something for people listening to us. Of course, this is a channel as well about technology, and I think the art world is actually, before NFTs, was one of the few sectors in human that it was not digitized. So it's the first time that we have some, and there's still actually a lot of the conservative Christie probably has been kind of radically pushing things forward. But I would like to have this, how do you see this kind of changes? Because
Yes.
It's been a big changes.
Well, I think the biggest change happened during the pandemic. You know, the world of the art world was completely, you know, I always use this sentence of a movie, we were lost in translation completely during the COVID times. And I think, you know, we became a bit more humble, if I may say so. And so the art world, it is, you know, these auction houses, it's always, you know, fascinating to be there, and also very prestigious, because you could be also one day working in Christie's or in Sotheby's or in these wonderful auctions, and you can use it on your curriculum for the rest of your life. But it is, you know, it was quite pretentious also, you know, so that was one of the changes. And many of the galleries, many people were almost afraid to get inside, you know, to view this art, also in many galleries, because they're so beautiful, so impossible to enter, and also because you need to do, you know, you have to have quite a background in art history, or in many other, knowing lots of people around the world. But I think the main change that we thought it was during COVID was, you know, being more humble. We had we exchanged the art world impressions through, you know, even through different medias like Clubhouse. I think everybody was shocked about being and connecting to people that you could never even think about, that you could earlier and meet anywhere behind the screen. Nobody would see you, you would just hear their voices. That was also a bit scary, I think. I love to see people, I love to, you know, interact, and it worked, in fact, until we finally decided to live a COVID-free life until now. But the main changes were also, that's why, you know, I started the Art Talks, because it was to highlight those voices that nobody heard. And it was through different social media, as you well said. Instagram, you could meet incredible artists. The artists didn't have anymore a gallery to, you know, to represent them, so they actually had to market themselves in a certain way. And now we have seen that through these months there are so many platforms that have been created by women, because behind the digital world, and now we are also in the metaverse, where you are now, is a bit more safer. Maybe we are not so shy to be who we are. I think that is a very important change that happened in the last few months.
Yeah, it's completely a change. So let's go right now. How did you start doing your ventures? I know as well that you're a mother, and you have to manage. And I think sometimes, especially in the world of the entrepreneurs, family is not something that people really care, but I care a lot for that. And I think a good balance is when you get all this balance together. So if you can tell us a bit how you went through these experiences to, of course, start a family. I know that you as well went through separation, but as well, I'm more interested in the bridge between that and then creating your own ventures and the projects that I want to talk right now.
So recently, or you want to go a big? I think
I'll leave that for you, but I think it's more personal. Yeah.
Well, I think, you know, having always it's a big decision, having a family and having children, and I wanted to take care of my three beautiful children. So I started this beautiful career in the art world, and And then I stopped for a bit because my children were very young. And I have a daughter also with cerebral palsy. So I had to take care of her and, you know, being her physiotherapist, ergotherapist, anything possible for my daughter. And but after that, you know, now they are teenagers, and I could go back to what I wanted to do. And actually COVID helped me a lot, because before I used to also for a while, just before COVID, I traveled a lot, and COVID made us as a family be together a bit more than usual, which was fantastic. And yes, so that helped me creating the art talks. I met my partner and co-founder Francois René, where we through a Zoom, and into, you know, through a Zoom again, we created the art talks, highlighting the beautiful creativity that was around these last months, to give a voice to those artists who didn't have a voice, wherever they were in the art world. This is my always my first sentence. Wherever you are in the art world, the art of talks will be there. But not only those, but also, you know, all my the president of Christie, Dirk Ball, who is so I try to, if we may say so, in a way, democratize the art world, because I wanted to have to show the behind the scenes wherever, you know, whatever you are, if you are a curator, an artist, a gallerist, or a famous artist, or, you know, just an emergent artist, or the president of a wonderful auction house like Christie's, and to bring them together.
Yeah, that's quite impressive, because putting all of these people together is a massive task, and is a task that comprehends, like you said, understanding the industry, understanding as well the people, and then understanding art, and having all these different things. So so you have the art talks, and of course you have this been kind of creating quite a lot of dynamics. You just had something recently in the World Economic Forum. So could you tell us, let's say, from this starting and some of the highlights of what you did so far, but what is your goal with this project?
So we as I said, we started with a Zoom. I was going to meet an artist with maybe the beginning of the second pandemic in Bolivia. And then Francois told me, Carolina, I think better we do a Zoom just in case you don't come back for Christmas. So I said, why not? So this is how the art talk started. And since then, you know, you can see my first Zoom. I was so worried about talking through a digital device that I repeatedly said the same word for the entire 45 minutes. But then you learn, you know, as you can see, Dinis, you know, now we are completely at ease to talk via Zoom, but, you know, it's not very easy. You know, people are they had to learn how to, you know, to speak through a Zoom, and not to be physically, you know, in Italy, we touch, we feel the person by being together. And, you know, there are so many emotions, and through a Zoom, it's always a bit difficult. So this was we created and since then, it never stopped. The art talks never stopped. So we had more than 600 artists or curators and galleries all around the world, from America to Africa to Asia and Europe, of course. And then we were going to work for a magazine, me and Francois. And then again, we said, why should, you know, we can also do a magazine. And so we created the Art Talk magazine, which now we are at the 5th edition. And it's been partly digital, but also on paper for different, to create, because of sustainability and because of COVID, there were no events until now. So now we're going to have our next edition for Art Basel.
First of all, congratulations. I actually started my career doing magazines, and it's not an easy task, especially in this world of digital. So I think let's talk right now a bit about the digital part of your work. So you touched the Zoom. We touch as well the magazine and the digital components.
Yes.
But how do you see right now this going? Because of course we are in a very special moment for the art world. Because in one end there's all these, like you mentioned, Instagram, Behance, all these massive platforms that actually create a lot of fantastic tools for the artists. But at the same time, and this is actually an interview that I did actually with the director of the NESTA, the UK National Organization for Innovation. And one of the things we discussed is actually there's a paradox, is that, for instance, if you look at the moment, there's 2,400 collections in NFTs, but 90% is about CryptoKitties and apes and things like that. So which is not necessarily really kind of, would say, well, that's fantastic attributes on that, and I'm as well part of this ecosystem. But as well, when we talk about empowering the artists, and of course Sotheby's as well, and Christie's sold actually successful the people for 50 or close to $60 million. But when it comes to artists, there's around, this is actually data from I think last year, around 3 million artists worldwide, and most of them are on the verge of poverty. And this is official numbers. So it's quite a complex world. In one end, we have all these tools, but these tools are not really creating democratization in the right way for the artists and for the creators. So it's a bit like I found a fantastic article recently talking about the challenge with the gig economy and the creative economy, is that unfortunately people are not knowing how to use these tools to actually create revenue streams. And I think you and me probably are exceptions, but it's a big challenge. So I would like to touch this, especially in the context of the creator economy and the art world.
Well, I agree totally with you. We are living, I think, in a fee digital world that we are not going to go back, and we need to embrace these two worlds together. It's very difficult, as you said, because if you are an emergent artist or you are tech savvy, yes, it's going to be very easy to be on a platform and to upload all your paintings and to market yours, to promote yourself. But what about those people that are a bit of a different tradition and all so it's a very difficult. Or we have also artists in Africa that they don't have the same digital abilities that we have here. So it's incredibly difficult for them to even have internet. So what happens there? So this is what we are. We met incredible people that are actually. We have one that has been speaking always, Lisa Russell. She's teaching these artists how to use NFTs. How that's education. I think that's very important. Through education, you can make a stronger community and understand how to use this incredible digital world that we live here. The other thing is, I think, all this digital, it's also very important to be united. There are so many platforms, but it's all against each other. I think it's important to support each other in this moment, and to create a community that the artists can really benefit. But not only the artists, but also the galleries. Nobody has been thinking about the galleries. There's been always a competition between each ecosystem, I think, and that's art ecosystem. And I think it's important to connect before, in order to find a solution.
Completely. So I want to touch, you touched really about the ecosystem. Yeah.
I just want to show you, but even it's a paper, we did one of our magazine, which is, I love to show, because again, as you said, it's beautiful to do digital, but it's always beautiful to have something in your hands. And so this is our winter one, the Art Talk magazine on Dirk Ball. We had them.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah. I think it's really amazing what you guys are doing. Yeah, talk a bit more about that. Yeah.
No, thank you. And I have to say, this is all, we are, it's me and Francois. Francois is doing all the, he is creating all of this. all the layout. It's incredible how managed. So it's thanks to Francois. We have amazing art curators, gallerists that wrote incredible pieces, and also one of our amazing, inspiring person is the Michael Klein, the ex-curator of the Microsoft collection, that that writes, so many touching and inspiring, from his own experience. And there is a lot of knowledge. I think that's also another, to use all this knowledge from, this art expert that were there before us, and to really make it, use it as a treasure, and to keep it always there for all of us, not to forget. I think it's very important to unify past, present, in order to have a future.
So I want to touch one area very important that you touched in your previous part of the interview. So there's an ecosystem, and like you said, we talk about the artists, and I mentioned the challenge, but you mentioned as well the galleries and the museums and all these different things. So there's an entire ecosystem that at the moment for instance, I remember I did a study about the art industry, and the entire art industry, I'm talking about the official numbers, are like $20 billion, something like that, per year. So talking around now all the transactions, and now just the NFT ecosystem is around $50 billion. Of course, it's partly a bubble, and a lot of these things, I don't know how it's going to be working, because of course there's collectives, there's a lot of different things, but it's really more than the double of the entire art world. So I would like to touch, so for instance, from your experience talking with Sotheby's and Christie's and a lot of museums and with these artists and curators that you are interviewing and talking, how do you see this? Because in one end, what I feel is there's a fear, but as well there's in sense, an excitement, but at the same time there's still a lot of lack of education and lack of understanding. So I would like to hear your opinion about all of this revolution that is happening around the art world.
Well, we've been talking and discussing with so many, tomorrow I'm going to speak to the curator of the British Museum, Venetia Potter. These curators, they are, it's again, me using the Zoom for the first time. So it's a different world. So I think, as you said, it's to educate people using NFTs, but very difficult to educate a different generation than us. NFTs, I think, are, again, very important only if used in a way to really help the artist. And I think it would be very important to always have the original and the NFT. This is something I think very, very crucial for the artist. Never to, destroy the original and to leave it only to, to have NFTs. I'm going to have a talk on NFTs frames that you can actually download an app and have all your, NFTs that you bought through a frame. So next week we're going to have that at the Salone del Mobile, and I would love to have you, Dinis, if you come. So I think I'm not against. I think it's important not to be against, as I said again, to embrace this world, but also to understand that art is seen. There are different generations that you need to welcome. You can't live in the metaverse, but again, knowing that there is a world that doesn't have internet, you need to educate all of these communities first. Of course, they will come very, very soon, but I think that there must be a lot of education in order to use NFTs for a greater use. I think that is very important.
So let me ask you a question directly to what you just said. So
yes,
you are part of this world, and I think one of the things that I find out is not just about NFTs; it's about everything in the world economy. The challenge right now is that we have like these colossus from Silicon Valley and from all these unicorns and super unicorns and whatever stuff, but we have really a lot of problems. Okay, we have still 7 billion people, and a huge part of people are still struggling with kind of just $1,000 per month, which is kind of, and actually $1,000 per month is probably 10% of the world population, because if you look at the rest, most of the people live much under that. So
Yeah.
how do you see this? And actually, one of the studies I saw is that actually the challenges in a lot of these worlds, of course, we are from privileged ecosystems, but how can we really make this happen? Because it's one of the things I try to do in this channel, and I know that it's partly your talks are as well about sharing ideas, art, and as well beautiful projects and aesthetical revolutionary projects. But how can we actually create these dynamics that actually can create something more special and more, I would say, more dynamic in terms of really change? Let's put it that way.
Dinis, this is a very difficult question because, you know, for I'm in my philanthropic way, this is our aim, you know, our vision, our mission is to connect and to create and to support all these emergent artists. But again, it's very difficult. It's a very utopistic. I think, you know, I'm trying to, you know, you know how many artists they ask me, Carolina, can you help me finding a gallery? Can you help me finding a space? Not so much a gallery anymore, but a space. And again, it's not so. It's still very difficult because there are not so many spaces, and again, the artist always needs the curator. Has to meet the curator. So this is what we do with the art talks. Actually, we connect them. We have a platform that everybody could connect to, you know, art lovers, to art collectors, but it's not easy. As I said, it's not easy. Many times, you know, you need always an introduction. Let's be very transparent. Not so many people are open to give their time. So it is quite a challenging moment. And again, there are these artists that are still followed, you know, chosen by some very, very important galleries. So this is what you were saying. This is not going to change, or it's going to change very slowly. I think in order to really change, as I mentioned before, is to support each other through, you know, to give access to the artist. To facilitate their promoting and marketing. The other thing that I didn't tell you, Dinis, is that I became just a couple of hours ago sales executive director for the Atto platform, and maybe that would be a way of unifying artists, because that's what is important, is the royalties, you know, the copyrights. Also with NFTs, it's very difficult. You know, you have to understand that many artists do it, but they don't know what are the legal how it works. So this is again education. But I think it's important that any artist could benefit from the royalties throughout their lives. That's very important.
Yeah, this is a key element, is how we can actually make this technology democratize and create a sustainable economy around the art world and around all the creative industries that we have around the world. So we're passing the time of the interview, and I want to do a second one probably, or I would like to talk more with talks and probably Francois and different people in your team. So from people listening to us, so can you tell us how they can get engaged with you? I just mentioned, first of all, congratulations with your new position, but how they can get engaged with your magazine, with your project, with the art talks, and as well be part, because this is as well a club that you're building. And like you said, a part of the success on the art world is about the networking and the connections that you build. And at the moment, there's a lot of tools for that, but people are still not using it. So I'd like for you to highlight that.
You know what I always say to every artist that I you know, sometimes I find them on Instagram, I have to say, sometimes, because there is something that conquers me, you know, and I that grasps my soul, as I said. But again, some other artists come to me, and I always say, I'm looking forward to hear your art talk story. So from this, I always try to create through their exhibitions now via Instagram, via Zoom, via the art talks, a little vernissage, virtual vernissage. This is how I'm doing it, where I guess, as I said, people that are from the world of the art world or emergent artists to be who they are and to know really their story, or to tell us through their works of art what is their mission, what is again the story behind the story. But to connect through the art talks or the art talk magazine, we have articles that are coming from anything that are happening during the art world, the art fairs, or some amazing curators that want to talk, as I said, as Michael Klein, about an exhibition that he went and what are his emotions. So anything, but it's really a pure carnet des arts, that you can be you. I think that is very important.
Oh, that's fantastic, and I think that is the most important thing. So I think just to wrap up, and I want to highlight the art talk. So the art talk is an independent magazine, Carnet des Arts, to the family office in Impact Wealth, and a lot of different things. So tell us a bit more about where they can find the URLs, about you as well, how they can engage. And I think show the magazine. I think it would be good for the people listening to the video.
I show it again. Okay.
Yes.
So here we have, as I said, it depends on how many articles they come. But
you can push closer to the camera. We'll use this, but I think just to give a context, at least top level, because I think it's like you said, it's an object as well. So yeah.
So we have all our team, dream team, that we, that are, as I said, curators or gallerists or anybody in the art world, even an art lover that would like to write and loves to write. We are welcoming everyone. So, but we have here from Michael Klein to skin and photography from a very, very important artist in Italy. But again, the art talk is a global, is international. So we talk about artists in Africa, artists in Asia, or we have here even the sculpture garden of Edward James that we are so, they send us these beautiful pictures, and it's about, we really know, or we have, this is something amazing. We had an artist in Bolivia that is autistic. So this is also very important. The art talks and the art talk magazine are including what anyone that would like to write or would like to express themselves. There are no challenge, with any challenges. The art language is the most important. There are no boundaries for us. So we had an article with this autistic artist that, through the words of his mother, he told us a bit about the challenges of a young boy that expresses his emotion through art. Or we had art talks on the blind dialogue hub in London with the hearing impairment in Art Basel. We're going to do an art talk. So it's really everything. Okay. So we could talk forever, but
no, it's wonderful. So I think what this is the first. I know that we're going to be doing a follow-up with our other YouTube podcast series with Amrita. So, well, first of all, I want to thank you, and thank you for this energy and beautiful work, but as well very precious work of putting the community together. I'm sure this is the first part that we're doing, because this series as well are co-produced by Cities ABC, and Cities ABC has a huge component of a marketplace that we're building right now for the art world, and actually as well creating metaverse and AR VR experience for the art world, and we're going to be working together. So yeah.
This for me, this is Dinis. This is the beautiful reality. I'm a bit Again, I'm a bit always against this word that I cannot, it's a very ephemeral, how do you say it in English, because we can't touch it. It's not tangible. But I think, what you're doing is, again, through education. It's important education to make people understand and be aware of, that here we can support them. It's an honor that we could work together.
The same here, because I think with your network and as well, especially knowledge, because this is about knowledge, you need to understand this. I think for someone with your knowledge, it takes a lot of work, a lot of research, a lot of things to understand this and to be comfortable with that. So congratulations with the work with the Art Talks, with the community that you've been building. And we're going to be joining forces for a lot of cool stuff going forward. So
with
grazie
great
mille.
Grazie a te, Dinis. Thank you.